What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Thank you for stopping in. Today I have for you guys another exciting unboxing to dig into. Before we get started, double check and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I would love to have you here. And before you head out, do me a huge favor. Hit that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it, everyone. It really helps get the videos pushed out there to more people. And feel free to let me know what you are carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So we have a knife from Remette here that I just recently picked up. It's a knife that I thought looked pretty interesting, and I'm a pretty big fan of button locks, and that is what this guy is right here. We have our knife in a cellophane, microfiber cloth, and we have a little tool there for maintenance of the knife. So this is going to be called the WD107 there, WD107, and I believe they also have a more premium version of this knife as well. Now this is going to be very affordable in the world of knives. I believe, I forget exactly what this comes in at, should be like right around 50 to 60 bucks, and for the materials given, we're going to be getting a pretty solid deal on this knife if everything holds true here. So we're going to be getting 14C28N, and they put their steel marking right there on the tang. Can we pick it up there? 14C28N right there. And this looks like it's going to have like a high polished sandblast on it. Nice little drop point style of blade. Nice little thickening here that goes to the tip. Nice stepped and templed studs there, which means you should get a lot of grip, and they should be fairly comfortable. The springs in there feel pretty solid. Actually, they feel pretty good. Nice and stout. You can get a nice little wind up on this with the thumb flick. And then I do like how they went with an oblong button opposed to going with a circular button. Just doing different things, which I can appreciate. You know, and I gotta say, I think Remette has come an extremely long way since, you know, they first picked up from when they were QY, QGMS, or whatever they were originally. I think they've come a long way since then. I still think they have a little ways to go until they start competing with other various companies, but I think they are getting close. The micarta here is pretty nice. It's pretty smooth, but still has some nice grip to it. Micarta backspacer. Everything looks nicely finished. We're going to get lefty carry. The clip's not recessed. I would prefer it to be recessed with a filler tab, you know, similarly to like what Vosti does on a plethora of their knives. It looks better. It functions better. It's a little bit easier to get it into the pocket and all the way to the butt end of the clip, you know, but this will work. The clip screws are recessed and there is quite a bit of room in there. Definitely not, you know, a cause for concern or a reason not to pick the knife up. It is still tooled for lefty and it still looks clean. I much prefer this over a cutout here with no filler tab like what Civivi often does. This looks a lot cleaner. I do prefer a filler tab though and everything be recessed, but not a huge deal, not the end of the world. And then we have a nice lanyard hole there that runs all the way through the backspacer and out the clip side there. Comfortable, nice, strong springs, easy to get to that button. They do provide a little bit of texturing on that button, and it does feel and work well. And there's no drag on the button either that I can tell. It's nice and free. I'm pushing on the button, and it's nice and smooth, nice and free. So you should be able to just push this down and not have any worry. Now, I don't find a little bit of drag on the button to the blade to be a big deal, but some people do. You know, it's just something that you get used to with any given knife. It's just like any other thing that comes along with knives. You get used to certain things, you know, and how the knife operates. We'll get our issuing stitches Hank out here and give an idea of what this will look like in the pocket. It's going to carry very deep. You'll have a tiny little bit poking out there of the pocket, not much at all. And like we said, you will be able to reverse this clip and then then it does have and feel like it has pretty good retention. Really reminds me of kind of the old Civivi clip in a way. A little bit different, but very reminiscent of some of those more budget-ended, older style deep carry clips. So now let's go ahead and check the edge of this knife. Typically, I haven't had a ton of experience with Remette, and my experience has been good, and some of it's been okay. Some of it's been up and down. They do show promise. They do seem like they have a strong, foundation. But it's a competition in my opinion. That is what it is between all these, major knife companies, and there's room for many, right? There's room for many. But you have to provide and do certain things in order to be classified up there with the likes of Civivi and Kaiser and Vostede and Kubey and CJRB. And they're close, but they're not in that ballpark yet, at least in my opinion. I think they're getting close. They do have some cool different models that look like they would be cool, but for me personally, some of their more premium ended knives that hit that 150 to 200 mark, I will myself overlook those and pick something up, from Kaiser or Kubey or Vostede. I'll pick up something like that, real steel, off-grid. There's a plethora of other companies that I would hit up before picking up one of Remette's more, expensive production knives. And although they look pretty good and they show some promise, I just feel like they have a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work to do before I'm willing to give them that kind of money. And I'm sure that some of the designs that they have are solid and well done. But I just feel, Miguron is another company, Miguron and AM8. Best Tech even, has some knives in there. Concept. I mean, Remette's just not up there on that level, in my opinion and my experience. I think they can be and could be, and I think they're close, but I just don't think that they're there quite yet. This is nicely centered. There's no lashing there. This is a button lock, but there's no lashing. There's no pivot lash. And then up and down and side to side, it feels pretty good, and we're going to see about that. We do have positive lock up here. Check it up towards the tip and the tang here. Let's check it in the middle. And we'll do one more for good measure. And it is solid. That's a good thing, that's what we're looking for. It doesn't need to survive getting smashed like a baseball bat or a hammer into a nail, but it needs to be able to have and survive a little bit of adversity, such as some tapping on the spine. If it fails and folds under that, then we know something has gone awry, right? So that's what we look for no matter what locking mechanism we're talking about. It needs to have a little bit of strength against adversity. This seems to be pretty good. I wish they would have went with something other than, I hope that's not a bead blast, and I don't think that it is. I think it is a sand blast, which is all right. It's way better than a bead blast. You don't ever want to buy anything with a bead blast if you're new and watching this. Whether it's D2 or M390, the bottom of the barrel or the top of the barrel, don't buy bead blast if you can help it at all. It's just not a recipe for a good finish on a piece of steel. Titanium is one thing, but do not get it on your blades. Sandblast, in my experience, has been fine, but I would prefer a satin finish, a stone wash finish, like a PVD even. This looks okay, but I would prefer, you know, like Miguron does a gray DLC looking finish on some of their affordable knives. A stone wash. I mean, you can't get much simpler than a stone wash. I think that would have fit this knife beautifully. There's a couple, I don't really think I would change a whole lot. There's a couple of nitpicks, you know, get the Remette off the front of the blade here. If anything, either do a logo and put it on the pivot or put it really close to the tang here, similarly to like what Vosteed does. The button's good, the thumb studs are good, blade shape is good, it feels pretty thin, the ergos are great, you can choke up right behind the blade there, you can get right up on the tip for more precise cuts, the button is done well, the thumb stud placement is good, and the springs are good, my card is nice, backspacer, I would have loved to have seen a recessed clip and the screws, but for the most part, they have a solid knife here. You know, and it's a good one, but it's not a great one. You know, it's teetering in that area. I think with a little bit more work, I think Remette can get there. I think they can get up there with the likes of the big boys. But I just think, you know, a little bit more. But if you like this design, I think this would be a solid knife for you. Functionally, it seems that it'll carry well, that it'll cut fine, that it has good ergos, and then it has a fairly strong lock. So, you know, if you like the design, I think you'll have a safe bet in this one here. You'll have to let me know. What do you think of Remette? What do you think of the WD107 here? Hit that thumbs up button, guys. I always appreciate that. And if you're new here, we release videos just like this one every single day. Hit that subscribe button, ring the little bell. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I'll throw up a couple of new videos. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.